Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm glad to see y'all here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is John F. Thomas, and I'm one of the hosts for Fly Nubian King. But here I'm on the Fly Nubian Queen Network to talk to you all. If you're just now tuning in, just make sure that you're hitting the like button. And also, for everybody that's tuning in, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to FlyNubianQueen.com for melanated women like you. So I'm gonna just wait a little bit so some people can come in, and we're gonna be talking about this. So let's get that. I'm gonna really get into the details. So I'm gonna get a few things ready. Hope everybody's doing well. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. So a lot of people they really plan to like do things, and they have all these ideas like I want to do this, I want to do that, and they don't really have a way of going about it, or they just go ahead and just hop right into it, and they just they just mess up. They mess up because they don't have anything set up. They didn't think it through, and it happens to a lot of people. So many people that I talk to that I want to do this. They have all these great ideas and all these things, but they don't have any idea of how to go about it. Nor do they even have the interest to go about doing it in the right way. And I know a lot of things can seem kind of daunting and kind of stressful and things like that. But if you really put the time into it and you really look into it and if this is what you really want to do, instead of just talking, just do it. And that'll be a way that you can succeed. That's a way that you can win because you are actually putting the time into it, whereas others aren't so much. And that separates the people who win and the people who lose. That separates like why you have a Beyonce and why you have who knows who over here in this town, because they're not putting in the work. Beyonce puts in a lot of work ethic. She doesn't just do things. There's a lot of planning into it. There's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of thought process. Like if you look at her shows, it's not just I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna get up here, I'm gonna dance around, I'm gonna have some people behind me, we're gonna dance and we're gonna do all this, and I'm gonna make my money. She could do that. She could be this kind of person that does that and doesn't care, but she's not that kind of person. That's why she is at the top of her game, because she plans. Because whereas other people, they just do stuff and they fail, they're not on her level. And so I want you guys to just, if you're tuning in, just make sure that you're liking. But also, there's other people who, if you're starting a business and you're trying to do something where I wanna sell some clothes, and you're just throwing stuff up there online, that's not really doing anything. Did you look at the market? Did you look at see who your audience is? Did you do any kind of planning? Did you do some research? If you didn't do that, then chances are you're probably going to fail. A lot of people who want to do certain things, they don't do their research prior to. They don't plan things out. They just go out there and they just do it. Now there is a certain things to like kind of just doing stuff, but then there's another thing to really plan it out and really try to put the time into doing something, and trying to and really putting the effort in and seeing it through, because a lot of people don't do that. So this my keys to you. I'm going to give you just a set of tips on how you can really do better than all the other people who only just talk about it. This way you can actually be about it. You can actually do something about it. So tip number one on how to win, this is just planning it all out, is what's your goal? Like, what is your goal? Figure out what your goal is and then write that down, or put it on your wall, something, whatever it is. If you have so many goals, because I talked about this last week, but really figure out what your goal is, whatever that may be. Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you want to sell clothes? Do you want to, whatever it is, figure that goal out. And then once you do that, you can try to go into the next step, which is step number two, is don't necessarily rush your goal. Because a lot of people, they just, oh man, I'm gonna do this and screw it. I don't feel like waiting on nobody. I'm just gonna do it. And on one hand, yeah, I can see if you are around a lot of people who are super hesitant and they're not really trying to do anything. Now, there's a difference between being around people who aren't motivated and also being around people who are smart and patient, so they're not necessarily trying to just throw whatever out there. So you have to really just be patient. Don't try to rush your goal. Whatever the goal is, if you really care about it, it's like really like planting a seed. The seed isn't immediately gonna just grow and become a flower or become food or whatever. It takes time, and you have to put the time into it. You have to be patient, and being impatient kills a lot of dreams, because a lot of people, they want to do this one thing and they don't want to do the steps necessary. They don't want to have to wait to get to wherever they're trying to go. So they just give up on it, and they're stuck doing whatever job they're doing that they hate, and they're left with complacency. And so they're just comfortable being comfortable, and I just complain. Well, I wanted to be this, but I didn't do it. What's going on? I wanted to do this, but well, that was a few years ago. Or, oh, I did want to go to school, but yeah, this happened and blah blah blah. And I get it. Things happen. I get it. Life happens. Things come up, but don't give up. So don't let, because a lot of tasks are daunting, right? You want to do something, especially something you're not sure about, and you're even questioning yourself, let alone other people questioning you. So you push through that. So even though it seems really daunting, I'm doing a lot of projects now that, just full disclosure, I don't feel like doing that stuff, because after I think about, I have to do this, and then I have to do that, and then I have to do, it can tire you out from really doing what you're trying to do. But you have to push through it. You have to push through it, and don't rush it. Take your time with it, because if you take your time with something, you're really putting your loving and tender and care. Just think about, if you're cooking food, right? If you want something really quick, you can just slap something in the microwave, really, really quick, 30 seconds to a minute. And, it'll be okay. It'll be decent. But if you really get in the kitchen and you get out all the ingredients, yeah, it's going to take longer. But, you put in the time, you put in a little bit of pepper, you put in some brown sugar. Well, that sounds weird, the mixture of pepper and brown sugar, but you know what I mean. You're getting out all your ingredients, you're cutting your vegetables, you're cutting everything up, and you got your meats all set out, and you put it in the oven, and you're waiting. About an hour or 2 hours later, however long to cook everything, you have your meal that tastes a lot better than just a quick Hot Pocket, and it's a lot healthier than a little maybe 99-cent burrito or whatever you throw in a microwave, right? So, well, yeah, the crock pot too. That crock pot be coming in handy for sure. Man, crock pot saves a lot of time and lives. So, but yeah, man, so you want to take your time. Don't be too impatient and trying to rush stuff, because when you do, because you know what happens when you rush things, you get sloppy. You get real sloppy, and you don't really read over things like you should. And maybe you sign a contract. Because like I started in the music industry first before I went into acting, right? So a lot of times, and also that comes with being immature. I just want to get signed, man. I just want to get signed, and as soon as whoever, it doesn't matter who it is, if somebody says I'm gonna give you a contract, I see you got talent, I'm gonna give you sign this, and we're gonna make some money. If you rush and sign that almost is that is the worst thing you can ever do. Signing something without reading nor comprehending, and that's being impatient. So that can kind of kill your dream before it even takes off, because next thing you can sign this contract where this person is probably said in a contract that they get 60% of however much money that you accrue. However much money you bring in, they get 60%, you get 40. And it's just like, well, you're doing all this work, why are they getting more? But you didn't read the contract, you rushed it. You rushed, and you were just ready to go. You were being impatient. Hey, what's going on? How are you? Also, make sure that you're liking the video for everybody that's watching, so that way we can get more people to see this. And I think this is a message that people really need to know about. But going back to the topic, yeah. So you're being impatient, the person, and I think there's an artist. Who was it? I think it's Lupe Fiasco. I think he got caught up in a contract to where, basically, you hear this a few times, where a person has to fulfill the contract before they can break it. So maybe you're just ready to be done. You're ready for this relationship to be over, because they're sucking the life out of me. They're not allowing me to be myself, be creative as an artist. And no, you can't leave. You got 2 more albums. So you can do these 2 albums. And it's like music you don't even want to do, because the crazy thing with music companies, well, with the record label, sometimes you can come out with an album. And this is the crazy thing. You can come out with an album or this is your list of songs. You don't work hard on it. And then they look at it and they're just like, no, we don't like it. Go back in the studio and work on some more. And it's just like, yo, I just spent 6-7 months working on this album. Put it out. But they got the final say. So no, we're not putting this out. Work on some music that we'll like, that we feel as though we can put out there. And it's just like, okay, well, that's a part of it being impatient. You didn't take the time. You didn't read the contract. You were just so happy. Oh man, I finally got this deal. And then you end up being in a much worse off place if you just took the time, just waited. Okay, I know. And then you gotta watch out for certain people too. If it's something like that you happen to be a part of and in, where people will try to rush you to do something, especially when you're not ready to. Yeah, exactly. You gotta own your own catalog. That's why it's a lot of back and forth between. I see you're real. Got a good resume. Oh yeah, we can be good. I want you to sign this thing. It's like, wait, hold on. I need to read through this. Give me some time. Give me a few days. All right, man. Well, look, hurry up, because I ain't got blah blah blah. So watch out for stuff like that. Because it's like, if you really want me on your team, not saying it don't take all day, don't take forever, but just be smart. Like, hey, can I have a day or 2 to look over this, or whatever, however much long you need. If you need somebody to look over it, especially if this is completely foreign to you, if you don't even know what you're signing. It pays. I mean, I know you probably don't have that much money, but it pays to get somebody that's in the legal department. If we have anybody on that's watching right now that's a lawyer, shout yourself out. Maybe somebody needs you on here. I don't know. But yeah, it pays to have somebody that knows all of the legal jargon to look over there and actually tell you, hey, look, this is what you signing and this is what they're saying. So you have to fulfill all these things. And if you don't, you owe them money, whatever, so it's like, you have to be careful of stuff like that. So like I said, don't be impatient, because that's kind of a dream killer. And be strategic also. I'm gonna put that underneath the don't rush or go. Be strategic in what you're trying to do. That kind of goes along with don't just rush and do something. Don't just, throw something out there. Now, it's one thing to just test something. You can test, like if you're trying to sell T-shirts, right? And you just, okay, I'm just throw this up there on Instagram. I don't know how it'll work on Instagram, or I don't know how it'll work on Facebook or whatever. I'm gonna just throw this up. I'm gonna see what people do. There's nothing wrong with testing. That's a part of the strategy, because you have to see what happens before you really utilize your entire plan. You can't just throw stuff out there. I'm selling T-shirts now. All right. And then get mad because nobody wants to buy your T-shirts. It's like, well, did you plan? Did you, that goes to the plan. You have to plan. Don't just do stuff sometimes, because a lot of times you just do stuff, people aren't really going to be feeling it, because it's like, you just came out of nowhere. What is this? So be strategic with whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like when I moved out to LA, I didn't just move to LA. I was very strategic in what I was. That's good. Appreciate that. Yeah, for T-shirts, go and support a black business here. They posted it up there. Get your Black Wealth Tees. I like that. That's what's up. I like that. So yeah, just make sure that you be very strategic in what you're trying to do. So don't just put the T-shirts up. Actually see what they like. Go talk to people. Talk to your friends. That's a part of the planning. Talk to your friends like, hey, what do you like to buy? Because your finger might not be on the pulse as much as you think it is, because you didn't do the planning and research into it. So it's just like if I put out, for instance, if I put out a song, put out some music, and I don't really pay attention to what people are listening to, or I'm not asking, or even if I have this song and I'm going to put it out, if I didn't ask a friend or somebody that I know that's going to be honest with me and be real with me, and I tell them, hey man, what do you think about this? And because I asked that, that at least gives me some kind of idea of, okay, how people might interpret it, or like have a small little group of people that that you can trust. Like, hey, just tell me the truth. What do you think about this? And once you get the feedback, at least you're starting to put your finger on the pulse. You're starting to see what's going on. So when you do that, you're setting yourself up for success. You're planning now. This is a part of the planning process. You're being strategic before you just launch whatever, So That's step two. So like I said, step one, because it kind of mirrors what I was talking about last week, because I said I wanted to really help y'all with this. Like, what is your goal? Step number one is, what is your goal? Step number two is, don't rush your goal. Don't rush it. Just work it out. It'll come. So how, just try to be patient and be strategic. So that really keep those in mind. And step number three, I'm gonna go straight into that, is study. You have to study. When I took a class in school on music business, but even regardless on that, it was business. So it's like, if you are creating a business, right, whatever business that is, if you are trying to sell yourself in some kind of way, whether that's if you're trying to be a promoter, if you're trying to be a club promoter, or whatever, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever it is that you're trying to do in selling yourself, because in almost in any way you have to sell yourself, right? So this works in all of that. Even at an interview, you're selling yourself for the interview. But so you need to study though. So you have to see if you're going for a job, it's like, what is the company looking for? So in a sense, you have to if you really want that job, to see what they want. So this is what they do. And they're going to ask me, what can I bring to the team? So what can I bring to the team? What are they looking for? What are they missing? And that's all a part of the studying process. So you have to study. And if you're selling your business, if you're selling t-shirts, you have to study. Look and see what's already out there. Look at the competition. And that's what they taught me in the acting class. Hey, what's going on, April? So just see what your competition is. And going back to what I was saying earlier, if you want to be a singer and you have somebody like Beyonce, even though she's in a whole nother league, that's your competition. Study her. Don't completely mimic her, but study the business. She is a business. You have to study it. So when I was coming up trying to do music, even though he is a flag right now in a sense, but R. Kelly, I studied R. Kelly and I studied Marvin Gaye. I found like this DVD of Marvin Gaye's performances that he was doing, and which you rarely ever find. It's like all of these different performances. And I watch Marvin Gaye because I'm kind of with those two artists. I'm kind of the same way. Like, I'm not like Neo. I'm not going to be dancing. I'm not Michael Jackson. I'm not going to be dancing all over the place. I'm not going to be I'm not like Chris Brown, Usher. I'm not doing flips and got a whole crowd of people behind me, busting moves and all that. And I'm not going to be doing that. So it's like, I have to look at somebody who is similar to what I'm doing. And so I looked at both of them. I looked at R. Kelly and I looked at Marvin Gaye, and I studied them. I studied what they did, and I noticed, I was like, okay, since they can't dance, what are they doing to keep the crowd's attention? And they were being creative outside of that. They were being very interactive with the crowd, and they were actually bringing in aspects of what they were saying, basically theatrics. They were using theatrics. And so to simplify it, they were using theatrics to try to get the crowd to really engage with them. Because otherwise, it's like, I can't do all these dance moves. I can't do this, amazing dance number set. So if I can't do that, what else can I do? So you have to study the model, study your competition. And even though, Marvin Gaye is gone, I studied a great, and don't just study random people. You can, but just study great people, because you want to be great, right? You don't want to be just mediocre. You want to be great. And we're all great here. You're great. I'm great. We're all great. So make sure you study the greats. Like, so whatever is the biggest competition, if you have a restaurant, if you're opening up a mom and pop restaurant, you're starting out, or whatever, you're selling chicken wings or something. I don't know. Look at the competition. Look at what other people are doing. They're doing little things where they can invite people, try to entice people in. Hey, on Wednesdays, we're having buy two, get one free or something like that. Or you get half off of an appetizer or something, little things like that. You can do things like that. And you can kind of mimic. You don't have to do exactly that, but you can do something similar. And that'll set you ahead. And also look at the customer service of that business. So this goes into the study. Look at the customer service of that, because customer service is important. Because just like, with you guys, I love doing that. I love talking, with you guys when you're talking to me on here. But there's other people that don't, and in a sense, and that's not a bad thing. But I know for me, it's kind of like, oh man, I kind of wish whoever it is I'm watching, they would be more engaging. It's not a make or break deal for me, but it's like a little extra special thing, that I think it's like, oh, you didn't have to do that, but you did. So with the customer service, it's like, yeah, you don't have to do it, but it would be in your best interest for you to do it, because you're trying to get this business, this group of people to come back. So customer service, and then presentation. You have to study, like, how are they presenting themselves? And they have this whole model down packed. So you have to do the same thing. You have to study. You have to study your competition and figure out what they're doing. And you got to think about it. Your competition didn't just come to be. It didn't just happen overnight. They did their research too. That's what they looked at somebody else too. And they looked at another company too. And they looked at what they did. And then they kind of modeled what they did after them. Maybe you tweaked a few things here and there. But other than that, they did what they needed to do by studying the competition. And sometimes you can even see, like, what is my competition doing? What are they not offering? Sometimes you can find it's like, oh man, they're not, I went to this business, a nice business, like maybe it's a restaurant. I go in here and I'm eating. Oh, the people aren't really that friendly. Okay, when I open my business, I'm gonna make sure that everybody's friendly and you actually feel welcome when you come in. Maybe even just, hey, how's it going, when you come into the door. Sometimes it can be annoying, but other times, if it comes across as genuine, then it's like, okay, cool. I know I like this little place. They say hello when you come into the door. Whatever, you go into the other place and they don't say hello, you kind of feel away like, man, do you even want me here? Because sometimes you get that too. So like I said, you have to look at all of these things. So study. So that's the step number 3. Also, while I'm waiting right now, make sure y'all like, while you're watching this video, like, so that way everybody can see, and we can get this video out. Make sure you share the video as well. If you can, share it on Facebook or wherever, and subscribe because, we would love to have you back so you can get more topics like this. And you can be engaging with us as you are now, and I'm happy to have you. So going over into the 4th step. So we talked about number 1, what is your goal? Number 2, don't rush your goal. Number 3 is study. Number 4 is preparation. You have to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, then why are you doing anything? It's like going to, if you have this big game that you're prepping for, championship game, and you didn't prep for it, you're probably not going to win. If this is a championship game and you didn't prepare for that game, or it's just a big fight and you didn't prepare for the fight, does that make sense? Like, how you can't win if you don't prepare. So you have to prepare. So preparation is extremely important. Make sure that your ducks are lined up, because if you don't prepare for what's to come, I don't care how confident you feel about it. And we kind of get lazy sometimes, even if you are good, and that's kind of like an issue with people who are naturally good at certain things. They get comfortable because it's like, well, I don't really have to work. But imagine if you did put some work into it, if you did try, how much better you'd be. So you have to prepare. It's good to prepare for things. So like if you're studying for a test, you can't just go into the test and expect to pass the test. You can't ace the test and you didn't prepare for it. Saying this has a major impact on the success of your business or like thereof. Because it's like, if I can't identify with who you are, why do I care? Why do I care? You have to prepare for these things. You have to prepare. And that's all about planning. You have to prepare for all this stuff. Like, if I'm going to have this business, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do that, how are people going to recognize me? How are people going to be able to contact me? How am I going to be able to continue offering my business to them? How am I going to fund this? How am I going to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have to prepare. You have to prepare ahead of time. And I know a lot of people don't really like doing that sometimes. And I know it's kind of, it could be boring or it can be daunting, or you don't feel like doing it. You'd rather watch TV. You'd rather go to the movies. You'd rather, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't prepare, you're not going to win. And that's just being honest. If you don't prepare, you're not going to win. Hey, what's going on, Susan? Bella, what you missed? So I'm talking about how to plan, because a lot of people don't plan. If you're not planning for whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever major goal that you're trying to push towards, then most likely you're going to fail. So I'm gonna go back through the steps that I'm up to so far. So number 1 is, what is your goal? Number 2 is, don't rush your goal. Number 3, study, study, study. And number 4 is preparation. So also, like I was saying, get your ducks lined up for what you're trying to prepare for. Because once you get all these things set up and ready to go, then you can attack. And I promise you'll feel a lot better once you have these things lined up now. So if you have this business and let's say you're selling a bottled drink or something like that. I don't know, like your family has like a lemonade, ingredient that, the lemonade tastes a little bit different. Even if it's just like a little girl's lemonade stand out there. You can have, it's all about presentation. You have to prepare for that. Prepare for all this stuff: presentation, customer service. Do you have your cups? Do you have the lemonade ready? Do you have, like all of that stuff that counts as preparation? Because if you're not ready, it's like, okay, I can have a lemonade stand and people come out and I might have a line. Who knows? I might have a long line and then I run out of lemonade. Oh, I didn't expect to have this long line though. Yeah, that can be an excuse. But why didn't you prepare for that? You should have prepared for this. So you should have had extra. Or, oh, I ran out of cups. Man, I'm sorry, guys. I don't have any lemonade because I ran out of cups. You should have planned for that. You should have prepared yourself, have extra cups just in case, because you never know. So you have to prepare. Also, another thing is when you do prepare, when you do get all these things set up and you take your time with it, going back to number 2, like don't rush your goal. You take your time with it and you look over all the progress that you made so far, you're going to feel so much better about it. You're going to feel so much better about the things that you were doing, because now you're even more set up for success. And you probably already planned in preparation just in case something fails, because you got to have those things in place. When I moved out to LA, I had a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, all the way down the alphabet. I had all these different plans just in case if this happens. What if I run out of money? Okay, well, I have this money in my savings account, a whole thousands of dollars saved up or whatever. Well, what if this job doesn't hire me? Well, I already got, I got approved to be a substitute teacher, so I can just be a substitute teacher somewhere. So that's another job there. Or I can apply for this other job because now I have a degree. I can apply for this job or whatever. I can apply for all these jobs, all this other stuff. Or what if my car broke down? Well, that's cool because I have enough money saved up to where I can buy a new car. Or what if I get in an accident? Well, now I have that money. So it's like you have to think about all these things, and not what ifs to set you back, but what ifs to help prepare you for like to be ahead of whatever could happen. Set yourself up for success. So prepare for the worst so that you can overcome the worst, right? So you just don't want to just be doing stuff and then something happens and you're devastated and you're just shut down because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to react because you didn't prepare for it. You have to prepare, so I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to, because we don't do it enough, Only Human. I appreciate that. We don't do it enough. We just want to do things, and I get it because you're living in this situation and you're tired of being in this spot and you're just ready for a change. You're ready for something new to happen, and you just want to what happens, and it's like, oh crap, okay, let me figure out what I will do if this thing happens now. So that way you already have your stuff lined up. If this happens, and look, I have to thank my parents for this because in a sense, it was like a mixture. They would almost kind of say it because sometimes you'll have certain, not saying that my parents did this, but you have people that will dissuade you And like especially when me going into music, they didn't really want me to go into music or the arts, but they'll do certain things. Oh, hold on, it's saying that I have a. Am I? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I don't want to. I don't want to be talking and y'all don't hear me. Can y'all hear me? Hey, can y'all hear me? I think I'm back. I think everything is fine. Okay, great. All right, cool. So like I was saying, you have certain people that will, and I'm sorry about that. Sometimes my internet is it's crazy sometimes. But anyway, so you have certain people that will say stuff to dissuade you, right? And I'm not saying that my parents, did that, but like I mean, in certain aspects, like for instance, when I tried to go into the arts, they weren't happy about it. So they were like, well, why don't you try to be a doctor, try to be an engineer and stuff like that? Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? So in a sense, it was kind of a dissuasion, but also it made me think. So, I mean, initially I was taking it because I was like, man, you're not really trying to support me, whatever. The immature teenager, whatever, oh, you're not really supporting me, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But also, in a sense, like now that I'm older, and I'm glad I was around enough wise people to think ahead like that. It's like, okay, so what if that happens? Because I remember my brother told me, it's like, well, if you want to be treated like you're grown, start acting like, you're grown and stop doing little childish things. So, and we can all take that, so it's just like, okay, so what if this thing happens? If that happens, have an answer for it. Have some kind of answer for it. It's like, okay, well, if that happens, then I have blah, 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 this money set aside. If I happen to lose this money or if I can't get whatever this loan, and things like that. Or it's like, oh man, well, you need a loan to open it. Well, if I don't have the loan, I have money saved up. I was just hoping I can get the loan and then I can use the money I have for whatever. Just have all these in place. So that way you're not suffering at lack of planning. Because with lack of planning, you have all these things pop up. And once all these things pop up, that can be very, very discouraging because you don't feel like doing anything else because it's just like, oh man, well, all this stuff happened. But it's because you didn't plan. You didn't plan. You didn't prepare for this situation to come about. So, take that into consideration. So, so like I said, get your ducks lined up. This is all under preparation. Look over your progress. You feel better about what you've done because you've prepared and planned and you've studied and did all this research. So now you can get everything ready to launch. Now you can get ready to do stuff. So now you got all this stuff, and it's funny because now you can see the stuff that you've worked on and you have ready to go at the ready, and you're just like, man, y'all don't need. And isn't it a good feeling for like the business owners out there or people who have done stuff and have been successful doing stuff? If you're watching, where it's just like, man, I'm about to do something and they're not even ready. They're not even ready. You just have like all this energy built up, and this is like, ooh, I'm gonna kill them with this. I'm gonna kill them with it when I do this. So it's like, and then you have people come, whoa, I didn't even know you had did all this and had all this and everything, and it's a beautiful thing. But I mean, ultimately, it's not necessarily for them. It's for you though. It's for you. It's for whatever business that you're trying to do or whatever goal that you're trying to go after. It's, oh man, I didn't even know you were doing this, and now you're getting your doctorate. It's because I planned, because I prepared, because I studied, and I did all of that. I got everything ready just so I can accomplish this goal. So make sure that you do prepare. You have to do that. You have to do that. So I'm gonna go back through all the lines. Before I do that, everybody make sure that you're liking the video so everybody can see. That'll help us out a lot. So I'm gonna go back through the goals. All right. All the steps I have so far in planning, because planning is very important. Number one is, what is your goal? You have to figure, you can't do anything without, you can't plan something without a goal, without something to plan off of. So it's like, even if it's something as simple as, I want to save $5,000 this year. Okay, so that's your goal. That is your goal. And then from that goal, it's we can go into like all the other steps. It's like, number two, don't rush your goal. So you don't have to necessarily kill yourself to do that, but just do what you can, to get there. Like, be smart with it. I mean, I don't want anybody like just killing themselves to do something, but really go after your goal, but don't go overkill. We need you alive. So number 2 is don't rush your goal. Be patient, be strategic. Number 3, study. Make sure you're studying, so that way you already know the answers to whatever questions that may pop up that you don't even, maybe even have an answer to. So if you study ahead of time, then you already know who you're competing against, what you're competing against, the climate that you're competing in. All of these things. Number 4, preparation. Get your ducks lined up. So now that you've studied and you prepare, now you're preparing, you're getting all these things set up. Once this happens, step number 1 happens, then step number 2, then I'm gonna initiate, then I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do that. And so now you have everything prepared and ready to go. And you have everything ready to launch. And once you see all of these things set up, you're gonna feel so good about it. Step number 5, so the last step is to initiate the plan. Now you can initiate. And this is the great thing, is now you can see what you've worked on, what you've accomplished, all the time and hard work and effort that you put into this thing. Now you can see it come to fruition. And it's a beautiful thing. And it might even be a long time coming. Like, man, I've been working on this thing for a year. And it's basically like it's a baby that you've been nurturing, you've been growing, feeding, watering. And now you see your baby go. Now you see your baby bloom and grow up into this beautiful thing. And it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. So, and even with this, though, a few things can happen. So it can go well, or maybe it can fail. It could fail too. So even though I'm saying you're trying to plan and prep around it, it can have a level of failure. But I'm not saying like totally fail, or maybe some cases maybe it totally fail. But that's fine. That's okay. That goes into the other thing with if that happens, if that does happen, because like with anything, even let's say like with for instance, Lady Gaga. I always bring up this idea with people because it's just like when she first was coming out, she went to all these different record labels, and she had like some great music, amazing music, and she was presenting it in front of all these different record labels. And she basically had all these steps and everything like that. She is a trained piano player, and she can sing and all this other stuff. But none of the record labels were trying to hire her. So things like that can happen. But don't be discouraged. Don't quit. That's the part where it's like, don't quit. Next thing you know, I think she ran into Akon, and he believed in her goal. He believed in her dream. He was like, okay, I believe in your talent. And then she blew up. But just think of what happened if she just said, well, I kept going to this door and turn away, decline. And you can take your ball and go home, or you can stick with it, keep with it. So thank you. Oh, my name is John F. Thomas. Appreciate that, Only Human. I don't like to think of myself as just a wild. I just try, like, whatever I learn, I try to share it, because that's what we should do. We should try to share this knowledge, and not try to just keep it to ourselves. I mean, I want to see other people succeed. But going back to Lady Gaga. So Lady Gaga, she had somebody, believe in her, and then you already know what happened from there. She came out with her album, blew up. I mean, that album blew. You couldn't turn onto a station without hearing Lady Gaga. I'm trying to think of the name of her songs, because she had some Poker Face, right? Friend, Poker Face. There was a Poker Face song, which that was a huge song. It's like almost every song on the album was huge. And it's just like, it's crazy, because it's like all these people said no. Are they insane? Could they not see that you were talented? Could they not see? And it's like, but she didn't quit. And she did all the prep work. And like I said, you can do all the prep work, and you can still potentially fail. But if you keep going, you're going to win. You're going to win. So don't stop. Keep going. Keep pushing. Even if you do fail, like I said, it's okay. Because I said this in the last video. It's okay. Sometimes you fail. It's fine. Take it as a learning lesson. Analyze what happened. Okay, so I was trying to sell my t-shirts, and people weren't really, and it's probably not even like a big failure. It can be like a small failure. Like, man, I launched the t-shirts, and no one was really responding. Why weren't they responding? Like, man, what's going on? Or I thought I had all these people, that wanted the shirts, but only like 2 people liked it, and it wasn't really shared. I'm like, man, what did I do wrong? So analyze what happened. And go back to the drawing board. Figure out what you could have done better. Or look at what somebody else is doing. Okay, so I did this, so that didn't work for me. Maybe this part doesn't work for you. Go back and do something different. Go another way. Go another route. Like I said, there's plan A, plan B, or just analyze. Just go over what happened. What did you, and then if you did you succeed or fail in it? And if it's okay, just like I said, take those lessons and learn and learn what you can improve from that. Because if you just stop, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to learn from your failure. The only thing that you will learn at that point is just that, well, I didn't make it. And it's just like, okay, and keep going. So I mean, it's basically like, I mean, I take this advice. I take gems here and every once in a while that I get. I remember my brother told me at one point. I honestly, this kind of changed my life and the way I looked at things from the future. And I remember I told him about this girl in school. I was like, oh man, she's so cute, man. She fine. She fine. I like. He was like, what? Did you go and say something to her? I was like, oh no, man. I don't know. I'm afraid of what she's gonna say. He was like, what's the worst thing she could say? He said, what's she gonna do? Like slap you? It's like the worst thing she could say is no. And I thought about it and I was like, hey, like, wait, you're right. Like the worst thing she can say is no. And I took that and I applied it to that, but then I applied it to so many other things. What's the worst thing that a person can say? No. Okay. Somebody's gonna say yes. You might say no, but somebody's gonna say yes. And so it's just like applying for a job. You know, when you apply for jobs, it's like I'm applying for all these jobs, and this company, no. Somebody's gonna say yes. Because somebody needs whatever it is I'm offering. So think about that. Somebody needs that. So don't quit. Don't stop. If it happens not to work out, it's okay. Take that, learn from it, and actually, she can say no. I mean, she can say that, but I mean, what still? It's just like she said no. I mean, so it's like whatever. I mean, as long as she ain't putting her hands on you, I mean, basically that's what it was. It was like, so I mean, if I go up to a girl on the street, like, hey, can I take you out to eat sometime? Or hey, you look pretty nice. My name's John, whatever. Introduce myself, and she's like, no, I'm fine. And it's like, okay, all right, cool. I mean, if anything, the only thing that can hurt is my ego, but I mean, whatever. So it's just like, just move on. Okay, somebody's gonna say yes. And so, but still, next is on to the next one. So, yeah, just like don't let failure cloud or stop you from being as great as you are and can be. Because failure helps us grow. And I'm not saying go out there and necessarily fail. I mean, you're going to fail at something in life. It doesn't matter what it is. You play a new game or something like that, video game. You're not just going to beat it in one go. You're going to fail. Do you just quit? No, you keep, okay, let me try to whatever. Or you're playing this card game with your friends and they beat you. You're not just going to stop and like, I don't like this because I lost. It's just like, okay, well, I mean, you can probably get them the next time. Keep playing. So don't stop. So don't let failure deter you. What did you learn? What did you learn from it? Apply that to going back into it again. And hey, maybe that'll give you, so you probably, even with that, you can go back a few steps. So not saying you have to start all the way over, but go back a few steps, study. Maybe you didn't study enough. You need to study some more, because if you don't do that research into whatever it is you're trying to do, you're not going to be as prepared, which is going into the next step for preparation. You're not going to be prepared to take on whatever it is that you're trying to take on. So you have to do all of those steps. I'm gonna go back through the steps one more time. But you wouldn't want to put it. No, I mean, unless I say something crazy, then I mean, I shouldn't say anything that crazy to where she put her hands on me. That's not a good thing. But I'm gonna go back through the steps for basically how you can win. So I want each of us to win. I want us to be successful. Because we can. It's just a lot of us aren't doing what is necessary to do what we need to do to get to where we're trying to go. Number one, what is your goal? Figure out your goal. Write it down, whatever. Put it on your wall. I don't care. What's your goal? Whatever goal is, have that down. Number two, don't rush the goal. Take your time. Be patient. And being impatient kills a lot of the dreams, even before they start sometimes, because you're just trying to rush and do stuff. And you're not really looking into it. So take your time, be smart, and be strategic and then just go about it that way. You're going to get there regardless. So don't worry about that. Number 3, study. Make sure you study the competition, study who you're going up against, and see why are they successful. Look at their model. Man, why are they so successful? Oh, okay, that's why, because they do this and they do this. And you can look at another business like, why are they failing? That's another. I meant to mention that earlier. You should look at other people too, not just the winners, but look at the people who aren't winning too. You have to study them as well, because not as in depth, but just study them, because if you don't study why they lost, then you might repeat the same thing too. Because I studied some people. I studied what happened with people when they came out here to LA before I came out, and it was 2 different things. One person was trying to look for jobs too late, and they came back home. Another person was only going after what they were going after, and they basically weren't being patient. It's going back. They weren't being patient. They were like, no, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna do music, and I ain't doing nothing else. I'm only doing music. Well, guess what? You're taking your butt back home, because you got to be patient. So he wasn't being patient. So make sure you study those people too. So don't just study, definitely study the greats, study the people who are successful, study your competition, whatever their competition may be, but also study the people who aren't doing that well. So that way you can know, okay, I know not to do that. Oh, they did this. I'm definitely not doing that. And so now you have this whole thing laid out. So you know what to do now. And that'll have you just much better prepared going into number 4, which is preparation. Get your ducks lined up, get everything lined up, look over everything you got so far. You're gonna feel great about yourself because you done put in all this work. You the shit. You've been handling business. So now you can get ready to launch it all. And number 5, which is the last step, is initiate the plan. And from there, look at the fruits of your success, see what happens. And man, I would be so proud to see that. So if anybody has something they were hesitant on doing, take these. I hope this helps. Please take these steps seriously and, apply them, and let me know. Let me know how it helps. So thank you all for tuning in. If you haven't liked the video, make sure that you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to FlyNubianQueen.com. Best place for melanated women like you is for you, and for all the men on here. Make sure you go to Fly Nubian King and you subscribe there, because we got some stuff there for you too. So we're gonna have a lot of good things coming up in the future. If you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. Well, let me start Instagram and Twitter, because I have to have the same handle there at JT Slimcutter. JTSLIM, M as in Mary, CUTTA, JT Slimcutter at Instagram and Twitter. On Facebook, John F. Thomas. YouTube, John F. Thomas. Same thing that's on this video here. You see my name there. But I thank you. I appreciate you all for coming in. I definitely want to see you all succeed. Let's go out there and be successful. Let's stop rushing things. Let's really study people, because even I'm going to bring up Nipsey. Nipsey, how successful as he was, he didn't just do that stuff. He studied. You have to study. You have to study and be, in that way you can be successful. That way you can have all this stuff ready to go. You can have your t-shirt business. You can have your whatever it is you're trying to do. You can be successful in it. I know you can be successful in it, and you will be successful in it. And take that, start saying the affirmatives in the morning. I am great. I will be successful, because you will be. And make sure to plan. Take it seriously, guys. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate that. Only Human. You have a good evening as well. And I am out of here. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm gonna give me some food because I'm hungry. So I'll see y'all. All right, bye.